So interesting. A couple friends back down in the States that are Democrats apparently are having a hard time with the decision we've made to be up here and have actually reached out politely in a Southern way to tell us that we are ideologically different from them and wishing us best in our journey wherever that might take us. But politely parting ways, and that they're just not on the same track and the same thinking that we are with where we're at in perceiving what's going on down in the States. So surprising, disappointing, especially a couple folks are lesbians and married to each other, and yet feel somehow we're betraying our country by looking to be up here where there's more freedom and acceptance. So that's hard.
Yeah. I think that this is probably something that a lot of people might be going through in the States. I mean, we're just so crippled right now, honestly. And I think people are really being like pressed to the limit. And when someone starts talking about ideology, that for me, I wouldn't call it a trigger, but it's kind of like a warning sign, like, okay, ideology. So, so are we talking that as a Democrat, that's an ideology? As a Republican, that's an ideology? I've never thought of them as that. I guess they could be considered that, maybe. But I've never felt that way. To have people that have been in your life leave is always hard. I won't say that these specific relationships that just ended today are hard because they've been waning for quite some time since the election. And and maybe that was some of the pressing that I'm talking about. I think we all handle stress differently. We process differently, so we give each other grace on that. Brett and I have chosen after a whole lot of thought and a whole lot of feeling into what might be best for us and our future and the future of our grandchildren. We made the choice to come up here and to experience Canada, and it's been a wonderful experience. And I'm glad we came, and we're here for another week, and so we'll experience more. You know, we had a friend in our Airbnb this afternoon, and it was so comfortable, and it was so honest and authentic. And this is a Canadian friend. And our ideologies were right on point. We don't want to see people suffer. We don't want to see people go hungry. We don't agree with what the regime is doing right now in the United States. We don't agree that you can't love who you want to love. The list is endless. And so Brett and I, after we got these messages today, kind of like out of nowhere from these fellow Americans that have decided that we are unworthy, I guess at this point, we were talking, and we thought about the fact that we have family members, and we brought this up on our TikToks. I definitely do, who are MAGA. And we don't share the same ideology. And in my case, I have tried to hold on to a couple of these family relationships because I think I have a lot of fear around letting them go, that they might be gone forever. And that's hard. That's hard. And I also tend to look at the tendrils of things. So it's not just losing the MAGA family member, it's potentially losing who they're linked to. So maybe their children or their spouse. Like we're in tough frickin' waters right now. We really are. Sitting with our friend, we spent the whole day with our friend today up here in the Barrie area. And it was so nice to just be with someone who you can totally be yourself, who gets where you're coming from, who agrees, and who you feel you have developed a true friendship with. And yet we're getting messages of, kind of peace be with you, go on your way, from people that we thought were friends down south. It's weird, right, babe?
It is. And I don't know, there's a couple things with that. It's hard to fathom in those friends that voted like-mindedly and we socialized like-mindedly and supported in diversity, that there doesn't seem to be the camaraderie and the sense of outrage for what's happening around them and to them. Here we're hearing, especially November 7th coming up, about consideration on the same-sex marriage with the Supreme Court, something that would tangibly impact them. And yet we can sit here and have a beautiful afternoon with new friends that don't even live in our country, that are as outraged or even more outraged with what's going on. And just hurting with compassion that people in the state just don't seem to be seeing it or getting it. And it's firing them up here, and they're not even living in it or subjected to it. So, and then I like she said with the family members, it's so hard to keep trying to hold family relationships together when you know they voted and are still, even in discussions, advocates and proponents of what's being done on American soil and by this regime, and are choosing to either literally not seeing an issue with it or are choosing to not see an issue with it. It's disheartening. It really is. And it does make it very hard to justify keeping a relationship like that.
Yeah, it gets harder and harder because from where we're standing, we're suffering and we're frightened and we're outraged and we're trying to do like the good thing, the right thing. And then you talk to someone on the other side and they're like, life is great. I'm getting everything I want and I'm happy and look what I'm doing. La, 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 la. Like there's no problem. And we're sitting here going, oh my God, like, fuck, America is like, what? Anyway, things aren't good.